Hi everyone and welcome to my channel, Spina Bifida Guide to Hope. My name is Leilani and today I will be talking about the stigma around the disabled community that we are fragile. Now, just as a disclaimer, this is only going to be based off of my personal opinion. I by no means am trying to in any way offend anyone. Now, when it comes to abled people seeing the disabled community as fragile, the way that I personally take that is some disabled people, not all, I'm not going to put all of them in that category, but I would say some see the disabled community as not being able to do things for themselves. This definitely does affect the way that the abled community interacts with the disabled community. And I feel that some people who are abled do tend to tread lightly on certain things or tend to want to eagerly help a disabled person, even if that disabled person doesn't want or need that specific help. And I think that comes from a state of mind that disabled people are in fact fragile people and sensitive people. So when abled people do treat disabled people in that manner, in my opinion, it kind of affects certain individuals in the disabled community emotionally, and it definitely can put a damper on a person's confidence, and also it can affect a person's independence. Now, when it comes to the stigma of being fragile affecting the confidence of someone who is disabled, I feel that the way that it affects their confidence is by an able person seeing a disabled person doing something and them being like, oh my god, you shouldn't be doing that. Here, let me help you. When in fact, that person who has a disability is fully capable of doing that specific task on their own without any help. So I feel that it definitely can put kind of a damper on confidence, because even though that abled person is trying to help and be nice, it's coming from a mindset of, well, this person, because they're disabled, can't do that certain task, which in a lot of cases isn't true. In a lot of cases of people with disabilities, we are just as much capable of doing things that an abled person is able to do. Now, yes, there are cases where a disabled person may need extra help in certain situations, or they may need help around the clock. And I am by no means saying that there's anything wrong with that. It is okay for anybody, whether they're disabled or abled, to need or even want help in any way. But when it comes to a disabled person being able to do something, but an able person look at them doing that certain thing and being like, oh my god, you can't actually do it, that's when the stigma comes in. That's when you can really affect somebody's confidence and affect somebody's self-esteem and the way that they look at themselves when they have a disability. Also, along with the stigma of the disabled community being seen as fragile, affecting confidence, it can also in some ways affect independence. Now, this is more talking about when a disabled person is growing up, and it's talking more about childhood. Now, as a child, any child is obviously going to need guidance and need help, whether they're disabled or they're abled, it doesn't matter. A child is still going to need help. However, when it comes to a disabled child and that child growing up, it's very important for a parent to not, in a sense, baby that child too much. Now, okay, like I said, it is okay to obviously help your child and assist your child in anything that they may need help with. However, overdoing it and not allowing that child to do things on their own because you may feel that they can't do it because they are disabled definitely can affect them later on in life and make them dependent on other people to do things for them instead of them trying to do these things on their own. If they are able to do it on their own, in my opinion, it's not a great idea to hover over them and make them feel like they can't do it. Let them try. Let them try to do whatever it is that they want to do. And if they need help and you see that they may need help with that specific thing, then help them. It isn't healthy, in my opinion, to automatically think that a person or a child or whatever age isn't capable of doing something, so right away you want to help them. Let them try. It doesn't hurt to allow them to try first to see if they are capable of doing that certain thing. And if they are capable of doing it, then great. And that will help them to be more independent, and it will help them learn that they don't need the assistance that maybe they even thought they may need when it comes to that specific task. So definitely when it comes to independence, allow disabled people to do things on their own and to try things on their own before being eager to go and help them do that certain thing. Allow them to experience it first on their own, and if they do need help in any way, then that's when an able person can step in. But if a able person just automatically injects themselves into a situation because, again, that stigma in the back of their mind, it is telling them, oh, they're disabled, they shouldn't be doing this certain thing, or they can't do this certain thing. That's not always the case. So it's better to allow the person who has the disability to try things on their own to see if they can do it without any assistance first. Now, in my personal experience, growing up, I would say that as a child and even into my teen years, I was, in a sense, babied, but I wouldn't say that it was so harsh to the point where I felt like I was incapable of doing things on my own. The older I got, the more I wanted to be independent, the more I wanted to show that I was capable of certain things that people that I know in my personal life may not have thought that I would be capable of doing because I have a disability. I want to show them that even though I am disabled, I am capable of most, if not all, things that an able person is capable of doing. So for me, even though, yes, there are still, as me being an adult, moments of family being like, oh, you shouldn't do that, let me help you. Even though I know very well that I do not need help with that specific thing, I try my best as the disabled person to express that I can do it. I can do it on my own. Thank you for the thought of helping me, but I'm capable of doing it on my own, so please allow me to do it on my own. To me, it's both the independence thing. I want to show that I'm capable of doing most things, if not everything, that an able person is able to do. And it's also a confidence thing where I don't want to feel like just because I am disabled, I'm incapable of doing things that I see other people doing. I want to be able to try and do that certain thing, whatever it may be, on my own to find out on my own if I am able to do it. And if I can't, I'm okay with that. If there's a certain thing that I cannot do and I may need help with, I'm okay with receiving help. I'm okay with an abled person wanting to help me if I need the help. But if I don't need the help and they try and they kind of force their help, then that's when I get defensive and a bit offended. But I do understand, even though it can be a bit offensive to me when somebody tries to force their help on me, even though I don't need it. I understand that even though, yes, it's coming from the sense of that stigma that I am fragile, it is also coming from a source of love and a source of concern and care for me as well. So even though, yeah, it's a little bit like irritating sometimes, I still try to understand, like, hey, okay, this person obviously loves and cares for me and they want the best for me, so I understand that they're trying to just help. So I'm okay with help, like I said, as long as I am asking for it versus somebody just forcing it on me when I clearly do not need it. The last thing that I'm gonna leave you with is just to remember, whether you're disabled or you're able, disability doesn't mean incapability. Just because a person is disabled does not mean that they can't do everything or most things, or at least some things that an able person can do. The disabled community is disabled, but not incapable. We are not incapable people. We are not incapable of living normal lives. We are not incapable of doing certain tasks. May we need a little bit of assistance with certain things? Sure. Do we sometimes maybe have to do things a little differently than an able-bodied person? Sure. But that doesn't mean that we're incapable of living a life that we want to live. So the advice that I would give to people who are abled is to try your best to kind of allow whoever it is in your life who may be disabled to experience things on their own and experience trying to do things for themselves instead of right away assuming that they will be able to do whatever it is and trying to force your help onto them. Allow them to find out on their own and allow them to feel independent and to feel confident that they are able to do whatever it is that they're trying to do. And if they ask for your help, then that is when it is okay for you as an able person to help the disabled person. So that is all for today's video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel down below and join my journey. Also, please like, share, and comment down below on this video. It's greatly appreciated, and I will see you all next week. Bye!